How's it going, Sainers? Welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to the Round 14 preview. For this week, we take on Essendon. It's Friday night football, 7:50 PM, and importantly, it's Spud's game. It's a massive opportunity for our club. We take on Essendon, who are currently sitting pretty low on the ladder. They've got the 2 wins for the season, which is well below what was expected of them at this point. And they're coming into this game off the back of 4 straight losses, whereas we're coming back into this game off 1 loss against Brisbane on Saturday night, and then previously to that 3 wins in a row. So our form, although coming off a loss, is still pretty good. Last time we played them, we lost by 75 points, I think, and that was in round 3 last year, and that was when Gresham did his Achilles and was out for the season, so it was just all around a really shitty game. And then we played them in the pre-season and beat them by, I think, a couple of goals. So this one, it's got danger game written all over it. It's, Friday night football. Everyone's going to be watching. Last time we played in Spud's game, we didn't perform against Melbourne last year. And this is one that we really can't afford to drop. And we know that Essendon, although they've had their issues on their day, if things just click for them, they can be a very dangerous team. They've got a pretty good midfield. They've got Darcy Parish in there, who's a gun. And then you've got Draper, who's playing really well in the ruck, as well as 2 metre Peter down forward. But their main issue is probably the back line. That's why I think we can expose them. But for the most part, I think if we do turn up and we play Saints footy, and we play even the way we played in the first half against Brisbane, that should be enough to get the win. In terms of ins and outs and hypotheticals, which I love doing, and I know some people are frustrated I don't do this during, the Thursday nights when the teams come out anymore, but I do like to talk about who could not come into the team. Let's have a look at some of the ins and outs. So obviously we've got Zachy Jones, who's a test with his hamstring. We've got Mitch Owens, who's out with concussion, and Dan McKenzie, who's out with concussion. So there's probably 3 there that will miss. 3 to come in. Straight off the bat, I would say Jack Billings and Hunter Clark are straight in. And then I would go with maybe a Ryan Burns, 3 midfielders. But I do think a Highmore could be really handy. And I feel like you look at our backline from last week, someone like that would have been very, very important. But on the flip side, I think our forward line definitely lacked that consistent leader and just a person that had a bit of polish, and that could be, room for a Sharman, who last week for Sandy kicked 4 goals and was best of field. So I think that Sharman would be very stiff to miss this week. And then you've got Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira, who was rested last week after the bye. So I think he should be definitely fresh from his rest and from, basically 2 weeks off of football to come straight back into the lineup. So there's a lot of like for likes there, which I think is great. I don't see us really putting in anything less than a really good performance in this game. I think that Spud's game is a game that we want to own, and not just because it's for Danny Frawley, but also we want to always compete and perform in these games. Similar to Matty's match, whether we're bottom or top, you always want these games to be competitive, and that's something Spud would want. So I really do think that we're primed for a big performance, and Essendon's, notably been struggling, and they talked about it a lot on AFL 360 last night, but their pressure is 18th. So their tackling pressure is ranked 18th in the comp. Ours is in the top 6, I think. To put into perspective, Melbourne's at the moment is 17th, and they're struggling. So Essendon is a team that doesn't like to put a lot of heat on the opposition. They like to get the ball through the midfield. They like to take the game on, but they're not very good. And I'm being pretty polite there, but they're not great at defending the turnover, and that's something that they've done a lot of this year. They've butchered the ball. Their disposal efficiency is one of the worst in the competition, and they don't convert going inside 50 as well as the top teams. Even us, we're top 5, I think, for efficiency inside 50, and that's been, that's pretty low for us because we've been near the top most of this year. It's just the last couple of weeks we've not been as efficient going inside 50. So with Essendon and their issues, I think we can really capitalise on this. I do worry a little bit about 2 metre Peter because he's got the height. I think Dukes can go on him and do a good job, but he's going to need some support because 2 metre Peter, although he's been 3 weeks without a goal, prior to that he had about 23 goals, 24 goals, or maybe more in the first 8 or 9 rounds. So he had a very good first 9 weeks. The last 3 weeks he's been down, but we're always prone to getting a player down on form, into form in a very important game. And you could easily see him being, a big factor in this game, kicking 3 or 4 goals. But the way our backline's been, even last week, we kept Brisbane to 78 points, although they did miss a lot of shots. They had 60 inside 50s, didn't kick over 80 points, and they are the highest scoring team in the competition. So regardless of whether they missed shots or not, our defence did its job. Forward of the ball, I think, is more where the issue is. And I think we played too many smalls last week. So I think Ben Long, Butler, and Higgins, I don't know if they all play again this week, but you're not going to make wholesale changes after one loss to the top team in the comp. So I do think that Rats will back the team, and it'll only really be the forced changes and maybe Mason Wood who can miss. So overall, although this can be a bit of a danger game, I am feeling pretty good about it. I'm not getting sucked into the Brisbane loss as much as some sayers. I know that after the game there were a lot of negative comments towards the club, towards certain players, but I think that based on the injuries last week, potentially players being struck with illness, there were a lot of, I wouldn't say excuses, but there were a lot of factors as to why we probably weren't at our best. And the fact that we weren't at our best and we had a shot on goal in the last quarter to hit the front that obviously Max King didn't capitalise on, that says a lot about the character of this team and the fact that regardless of the obstacles, we're going to be in games. So if we can get a fully fit team on the park for 4 quarters on Friday night under the roof, Max King doesn't have a proper matchup, I think we could be in for a pretty comfortable win. But we can't take this lightly. I want this to be very similar to the North Melbourne game. Just a nice professional performance. Upwards of 30 points would be great because we don't want to lose too much percentage. But importantly, we need to just keep banking these wins because the second half of our season is very difficult, if not the most difficult in the competition, which Kane Corns made very public over the last couple of days, saying that we're the team that's most prone to dropping out of the top 8, which I think is a bit much. But obviously a lot of people agree with him because we've got a very tough draw. But that's, the teams playing us have a tough draw then because we're a pretty good team at the moment. So I think that if we can get this job done and done well, that puts us back up to 5th or 4th even, depending on other results. And then we've got some pretty big performances against Sydney, Bulldogs, Fremantle. We've got Brisbane again, Geelong, Hawthorn, West Coast over there. We've got some games there that are going to be 50-50s, but we need to be banking the wins when we're red-hot favourites. And that's Friday night, that's against Hawthorn, that's against West Coast. I think we just need to get over that 13-win mark, and then we should be there. And that starts on Friday night against Essendon. So for me, I'm not too nervous. I really do think that the boys have proven to be quite consistent this year. We've lost only the 4 games out of 12. There hasn't been a continued stretch of performances where you question the team. I think that based on our response after the consecutive losses against Port and Melbourne, that showed the character that we lost 2 in a row, but then we went and won 3 in a row. So every time we lose a game, we always do, bounce back pretty well. And that's not something that we've been good at in the last couple of years. So the fact that we've proven to be quite consistent, I think, is a really good sign. And if we show up and play anywhere near our best on Friday night, I do think that we'll get the job done and job done pretty well. So bit of a quick preview tonight, Saners, but I just wanted to do a quick one there just to get straight into the most important part, I think, of Friday night, and that's Spud's game and raising money for mental health awareness. And I've already gone to movember.com.au/Spud. You can buy a virtual footy, and I think that's a brilliant idea. You can buy a virtual footy, and it helps you look after the mental health of your mates. You can dedicate a message on the footy, whether it's to a specific mate, to a bunch of mates, to anyone in your life, or just to everyone out there that's struggling with mental health. I think it's a brilliant initiative, and the fact that the club have got that going with Movember is great. The whole event is just really special, and I resonate really strongly with it because I tend to have, lapses in mental health every now and then, and sometimes you kind of just get on with it, and you don't want to get on with it. You need to really identify it and put your hand up and speak up. And, whether you've got mates out there that are struggling as well, you can be a really good support to them and just ask them how they're going. I think it's just really important that we all identify that we're not always going to be 100% mentally. We're always going to have lapses, and we need to identify that and acknowledge that. And if you've got some great support around you, fantastic. And even if you don't, speak up to someone, anyone. We're all here to listen and all here to help you and to help each other through these really tough times, because during COVID, I think it hit everyone really hard. And obviously I lost my auntie earlier in the year, and that really hit me, and it still hits me even thinking about it. And my mate a couple of years ago passed away in his sleep. So it's just, different factors. Some people it's, out of loss. Some people it's really just the daily grind of getting up every morning. It can be that tough. And I know people like that. And I have been like that. So to anyone out there that's watching this video, it's important to get the 4 points on Friday night, the club as a whole, to continue our strive for that second premiership. But I think most importantly, we need to just take the clear message that just go ask a mate how they're going and just listen to them. And even if they're going great, they will 100% feel special internally and understand that, wow, like I've got mates out there that care about me. Because some people, although they might have the most caring and most supportive people around them, for some reason they will just not understand that until they're heard by them. So I really do want to see a big crowd on Friday night for Spud. I want us to have a big win for Spud, but most importantly, I want everyone going to the football and watching this video and that supports St Kilda or just AFL in general to really take this on board and to just chat to someone about how they're going and even about how you're going as well. It's a really important message, and it can be done in a really simple way. So hopefully you enjoyed that video, Sainers. Thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, comment your thoughts on the game and on how you're going. I'll ask that to everyone. How are you going? How are you feeling at the moment? I'd love to hear it, whether you want to put it publicly or just DM me personally. I would love to hear how all of you are going, because I care about all of you. You're all, the reason why I do what I do, and I'll be honest, there have been a lot of tough days, but when there's Saints TV and there's content to make, and I know that it really helps with a lot of Sainers out there that are going through their own tough times. The podcast, a lot of people message and tell me that they listen to the podcast when they're feeling down and it cheers them up and they've gone through depression, but the podcast has really put a smile on their face. That message to me gets me out of a rut. So we help each other out by doing that, which I think is amazing. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Obviously subscribe if you enjoy the content and you enjoy the videos, whether you're a Saints fan or not. And I'll be back right after the game on Friday night for my live review on Facebook, and then obviously uploaded on YouTube. So hopefully enjoyed that, Sainers. Take care of yourselves for the rest of the week, and I'll see you after the game on Friday night. Go you mighty Sainers.